The title of the session in the afternoon is Our Data for a Safe Business Environment. And we have to widen the perspective for including all the relevant stakeholders, explicitly talking about private companies benefiting and leveraging on data to generate business and generate value-added services.
Thank you.
The first speaker will be Marco Preti, General Manager of ECRF. ECRF is a leading company providing business information in Italy, on top of, but not only with, information on public registers. It's been one of the most innovative and interesting business example in the past years in Italy. I'll lend you the mic, Marco, and be ready for my question after the session, okay?
Okay,
Please.
perfect. Good afternoon. I will try to say a few words about our company in order to present our activity in Italy, but not only in Italy, because we are present in other countries. And I can describe our company that as a company that provide to bank and other companies for the B2B environment services in order to assess risk, especially credit risk, so finance risk, but also other information related to the supplier or the competitors or the prospect that a bank or a company could search for the respective business. So we help our customer in taking decision. And in order to provide this kind of service to our customer, we use data. We are a company that is an heavy user of official data coming especially from Infocamere in Italy, but we are a company that also use other sources in Italy and in other countries because, as you can see, we are present more or less all over the world. We do business information in Czech, Slovak, Poland, Turkey, Italy. We do business information in the US, in India. We are present with several services, but talking about business information, we are present in different environments, and in each different environment, we have different kind of data, different kind of situation. We consider us as, when we provide service in Italy, we consider us lucky because we consider that the quality, the level of service that we receive from Infocamere in Italy, we haven't seen something like this in other country in which we are present. I don't know in other one, but the level is very good. Just to give you a comparison between Italy and Turkey, in Italy we have all the information related to the company. The information are accurate, the information are updated, the information are available, and also easy to link the different information because we have a unified code. In Turkey, we have information related to the changes in the companies only, we can capture the information only on a paper format on something called Gazette. Is an old-fashioned situation, let me say. Some of the information, the negative information, the negative information about Czech are not available, are available only for banks, and so on. So we have a variety of situation, and for a business information company, for a company that wanted to provide information to their customer or wanted to help their customer to take decision is really a different job in each different country. A few numbers, 4 continents, more than 2,000 employees, 47 countries, 25,000 business clients, means B2B, and 2,400 financial institutions worldwide. You can see later in the presentation, data related to Italy and our revenue. The growth that you have during the years. Now, we closed the 2013 with 305 million euros of revenues, and now we are in Italy. The associated worldwide are 1.5 thousand. We talked about in the other slide of 2,000 because we aggregate also the information related to collaborators and not only to employee. Our position in Italy, we are the second player in the market for the risk part of the market and also for the marketing side. I'd like to show you a short video, 2 minutes video. I think that could help due to the fact that I'm the first after the lunch. So a quick video could help for the attention. It's an old advertising of McGraw Hill, that is an advertising company.
I don't know who you are. I don't know your company. I don't know your company's product. I don't know what your company stands for. I don't know your company's customers. I don't know your company's record. I don't know your company's reputation. Now, what was it you wanted to sell me?
There you go. Yeah, John, I'm looking for him on LinkedIn. I don't see him anywhere. Let me put you on hold. He's on the other line. Yeah, so I got your proposal, but I don't know who you are. Uh-huh. Gotta put you on hold. Be right back. Yeah, John, you find anything more on these guys? Really? Okay. Later. Yeah, so as I was saying, I got your proposal, but I don't really know your company. I didn't see much about you on Google. Your website is totally thin. I looked for you on LinkedIn, no luck. But someone in my online community seems to think of you as a third-tier player. And I see an ex-employee out there is doing some pretty nasty blogging about your CEO. Now, what was it you wanted to sell me?
Okay, who has to reply to this answer? A public registry or someone else? Because it's probably the main question related to the relationship that we have as a private company and you, all of you, that you are managing a public register. In my opinion, there are some of these questions that we could reply, both of us, easily. Who are you? Where is your company? And so on. But there are other questions in which probably the role of the public register is not enough for the question. What is your reputation? Is it something that the public register could handle? Is a question for you. I have a reply. In my opinion, there is something that there is a limit of, on what a public register could do and on what a private company or a specialized company could help the other company to use the data. In other words, I really think that we have a complementary role in the market because we have to help companies in understand the information, understand the data, not only to use and see the data. I heard this morning something related to the data that has to be accessible for free, the quality of the data, and so on. I think that it's important that the data are reliable. And when we think sometimes to free data, the question is free for who? Because if the data are free but are not understandable for a company, they're not free because the company or the banks has to put in place something in order to understand what is reading, what is, or understand what is looking for. So I really think that private companies specialized in business information and public register has a complementary role in the market in order to answer to all the questions that the market is asking to us. So, especially for SMEs, we have two main words related to the credibility of the companies. So, be digital and global. So, the credibility is a concept that came from a different number of or different sources of information, a different kind of work that you have to do on data and information. And coming from data to business information, that is something different, because business information is something that you can use for your business. You have to do a lot of activity, and you have to collect, re-elaborate a lot of data, a lot of different information that could allow you to give a suggestion for a decision to your customer. But the data are the main value. I wanted to show you the investment that we did in 3 years, especially in Italy. Main part of this investment is related to data, because we consider data, public data, one of the main values that we have, and one of the main sources that we need to use in order to give services to our customer. What is the idea of, what are the, in our opinion, the different phases of the information development? You can see that the collection of data is only one part of our work on this environment, because the second step is immediately information intelligence. So means try to enrich, try to compare, try to complete the information that we receive from the public archive. Obviously, in the different environment, you have to do different works. In Italy, we are in a different stage than other country, but in every case, it's important to add value, to give value to our customer, to enrich and to have more intelligence on data. The third phase is, especially for credit information, for risk assessment, is the credit intelligence. So means build all the linkages, all the value-added information that you can capture in order to have a forecast of the risk related to the customer. And the fourth is rating and scoring, so automate the level of understanding that you have on this information, and also the information that came from analysts in order to make all the process more automatic and quick. At the end, we reach what we call the ecosystem of business information. That means that it's not just a database, but it's something that connects different information, connect also the activity of our analysts, connect something that we can capture from unstructured database or unstructured data, and make us able to provide what we consider a value-added service based on the public data and information. It's an example of our activity in Italy. We buy from Infocamere all the information that are available from company in Italy. So it's my speech, and the meaning, the main things that I want to leave you is the idea of cooperation. We have to work together to provide the best service to our customer. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. I'll come back to you later on, okay, on the issue on what's the price of quality and who decides the right level of quality, and how much public and how much private should be the distribution, the division of labor, I would say, for the maximization of public welfare. Next in line would be Russell Perry, CEO of, it's you. Of 360 Company from Vienna, Austria. Russell?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Russell Perry. I'm the founder and the co-CEO of a company called 360 Company GmbH, registered in the commercial court in Vienna, Austria. It's a great pleasure today to be invited. Vito, also thank you very much, because as I understand, today is also the premiere in more than a decade that private companies are allowed to exchange ideas, to be here, to also give you or to share a little bit the view of how we see the world when it comes to company registers. What I would like to do is give you a little bit of an introduction of what we're all about, a couple of minutes. And then I'd like to go out a little bit into the direction, what does it mean for industry? Where are we? Are we at the crossroads? Are we at an inflection point? What is actually happening in the sector from a state side, but also, of course, from a business side? Company, that's our brand, is an online platform that offers direct access to international company search, but also the access to authoritative filings. We're targeting mainly the small and medium-sized enterprises, allowing them to have instant access to company information, company profiles, of course the filings, everything that the company registrars that you are able to collect, to manage, and also provide online. Our coverage right now, yes, we're in Vienna, but our actual setup is very, very international. Through the license that we just received in Austria, also to provide access to the company registry, but also the land registry, and as a reseller of the European Business Register, but also the direct access into Companies House, the CRO in Ireland, and also, of course, in Switzerland, and also Germany, and I'll give you a little bit more insight of what we're doing there. And of course, other sources, for example, the World Intellectual Property Office, announcements, etc., to give our customers the possibility to have a really deep insight with whom they're actually dealing with. What we're planning this year, and that's the second half, starts very, very soon, is the expansion. Obviously, we cover with 25 countries, mainly Europe right now, but going forward we'll be accessing and integrating 12 additional Central and Eastern European countries, and we've prepared, it's currently in test, 40 US states. Of course, you're going to ask, why only 40? Well, there's a couple of states that are still running, I think, on some old mainframe systems. There's no access whatsoever. However, but 40 is the first step for us. Company is only 2 years old. On the 29th of February 2012, we incorporated in Vienna, and we've raised, through business angels, but also through family offices, approximately 3 million euros in the last 4 rounds. And we've also received by the Republic of Austria a 200,000 euro grant to develop an application that makes it easier for SMEs and also business owners to see the connection between the companies, their shareholders, and the influence and the aggregation of directors and officers amongst the different companies. Product launch was quite quick, first beta after 9 months. Today we're comprised of 10 employees, plus obviously specialists in the data science area, but also mainly on the IT side. Currently, we have also set up our own live index of 40 million companies. This means that we obviously have to know if there is a company registered somewhere and what products are available at the company registrar. So there's no data per se, but we know like the fingerprint, where does the company have what data? The trademarks, well, you'll find the company being registered in Europe and the US. What we are seeing, and very, very early on, that there is demand and the demand is growing. Yes, we're focusing mainly on the small and medium-sized enterprises, but we see that there's an intrinsic need to know who are the suppliers and also who are the customers. Currently, we are providing 1 million company profiles per month, and that's growing very strongly. And we've also already seen searches from 227 countries and territories. So it's mainly a global demand. It's a cross-border demand. And the question every startup obviously gets is like, what's your business model? Are you generating revenues? Yes, we are. We have a paid request today from 73 countries. Skip ahead there, and 10,000 business customers who use our service with a very, very nice return rate. And as I said, the demand is growing. And because the demand is growing, we see that there's an opportunity here really to create new sectors. I think the consensus, and what I've heard yesterday evening, and also, of course, in the presentations until now, that there's a general consensus that there is the possibility to create a new sector. One example, obviously, is GPS. Military setup. I'm not even going to go into internet, etc., but GPS. The budget is actually quite small. Of course, there were some startup costs, but the budget now is about $1 billion. But the economic value created just by having location information worldwide is about 90 billion euros. So the question is, what do we have to do to mimic the creation of the new sectors and mimic what GPS actually did? And it's all about information. That's what it is. It's information. It's verified, it's structured, and it's available, and that's one of the most important things. But we've heard a lot about data. There's a lot of data. There's big data. There's structured data. There's unstructured data. But we need to take this data and turn it into information, because obviously the data is just a subset. Information being something that's value added, that you can actually use the information, and information itself is then actually only of value if it becomes accessible. And it needs to be made available. And if we look at one of the main big data, open government data setups, obviously the National Weather Service in the United States. It took about 100 years, obviously, for the platforms to be open. But with just a small annual budget, but by providing access to data that was already being collected, the government said, well, we'll open that up. Because there are specialists out there that can turn that data, turn it into information that's usable and create an economic value, besides obviously saving a lot of lives through the real-time systems. And the numbers are about the same, right? It depends. If you look at the top 350 companies that are accessing the weather data in the US, they're creating economic value of about 30 billion euros annually. That's annually. The sense that I have on the business registers that we're actually at the start of the new sectors, of the opportunities and economic value that we can unlock in the systems and the platforms that are hosted by the various agencies. I wasn't able to actually go through all of the budgets and to find out what is your annual budget. What is, in the European Union, for example, the collective annual budget? But if we look at some of the opinions, one from Deloitte and et cetera, but also the European Commission, it seems that the locked value, once it is made available, once we've been able to open up the platforms, there is the possibility to create economic value, maybe 5 billion. We heard it today already, but that was based on the Danish data, I believe. But it could be 60, could be 70 billion euros trickle down. The question is, how do we take the next step? And I think here, as it is today, things are a little bit lost in translation, right? There is a technological point. There's poor API design. I mean, we have to admit it. There's only a few exceptions like IPES and the CRO and Companies House that provide an API that allows us to actually find the data, collected in a way so we can actually make information out of it. But if we look at Germany, largest economy obviously in the European Union, there is no API. I'm not talking about Bundesanzeiger because that's a private entity. But from a government standpoint, there is no API, and that's the largest economy in Europe. The interoperability obviously is a big point too. XBRL, I think, is a very, very good start. We need to get to the point that the data between the different registries can actually be exchanged. It needs to be formatted in a way that you can understand it, and you do not have to have 28, or in that case, maybe if you're going after 100 countries or trying to integrate 100 different interfaces and data sets. But at the same time, we have one issue, but this is a big data industry issue. And that is that 90% of the data is unstructured. Yes, the filings in some countries, the annual filings already are in XBRL format, and what, 90%, 80%, I think Spain was amazing with 80%, but 90% of the data generally is still unstructured. So what can we do there? Well, I call it, we have the 5 steps to ignite the sector, the new sector. PSI is one of the most important factors, I believe. I think that if we can implement the general guidelines there, but actually go beyond it, we can unlock that value quicker than before it was 2017 or 2020, which of course is one of the main targets also of the European Commission. But we need to focus really on the data itself, the quality of the data, the accessibility. There has to be a possibility to access it, to also have either an API or some other means of actually accessing the data, and availability. For example, in Austria, every day between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the evening, the company registry is in service. It's being serviced. There's no access to the data. Our customers, mainly small enterprises, we have a peak time starting around 8:30 in the evening because they came home, they have a family, but they still have to do something work-wise, and they don't have access to the data. But I think that if we embrace the API economy, we can overcome these things. We've spoken a lot about costs today. We've spoken about who can carry the costs, what side has to carry the cost, should it be free in general? Well, we have to reduce the cost generally for the access of the data. But I'm not saying it has to be for free, because I've been in content services and content licensing for over a decade. It's actually going on to 2 decades here. And I know that there is a price to pay for qualitative, authoritative, and structured data. But we need to make sure that the cost of actually accessing the data is not prohibitive. And in many countries, it's still prohibitive. So I think it's very good that by the 18th of July next year, all states have to clearly also provide a clear and transparent view of what are the costs and what are the markups. And we know that the EFTA court already decided that a reasonable markup is 10%. I think that's makes good business sense, because I also believe that if we cut the budgets, if we actually say everything has to be for free, the quality will clearly go down and the accessibility will go down, because maintaining an API economy costs money. People on the ground, IT teams that make sure that you can actually access it. But these are things that we can overcome. It's a little bit of budget questions, a political question, it's a historic question, because in every country, obviously, there is a history that we also that is reflected, even if we implement PSI according to the PSI. I know I have minus 1 minute. But let me just say what's important here also is that we look at the implementation of the copyright and reuse framework. PSI is the first step, obviously. But only saying we open up everything is not enough, because we still have to know that where the data came from, and is it authoritative? Can I use it to take a business decision? And that's one of the most important things. If we just open up all the databases in the archives, yeah, the data's out there. But do I trust it? Is it current? And where does the data actually come from? And can I base a 20,000 euro decision as a small enterprise on the data that I have at hand? Most likely not. It's all about verification. If you go to company.com/360K, you have access, free access to our current register report. So if you want to know who our shareholders are, you want to know who the managing directors are, you want to know also what our latest filings are, I invite you to just go to company.com/360K, and you can see that we're taking a very open approach on providing access and availability to authoritative information. Well, I hope, I know I'm in good company. Started yesterday in the evening. I'll be happy to also exchange a couple of ideas. I have to point out Peter, one of the founders and our CTO and the brain behind not only the company platform, but also a company registry, many moons ago, if I may say that, is here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the great points, Russell. Come back to the issue of where's the value and should be the price or should be the value of a business decision, reliable and trusted business decision. Come back to that. Michael, stay there.
Yes, I think.
Benissimo. Okay. You have the floor.
Yes, thank you for the short introduction. And now I'm happy to introduce some closer information about the company register in Germany and some detail concerning the so-called LEI, the legal entity identifier number. Well, I think we are going to start, yes, with the German company register. The German company register is a central platform for the filing of company data in Germany. The Bundesanzeiger Publishing House acts as a Berlines Unternehmen, which means we work by order of the German state and take an official assignment for which we have been appointed by the Federal Republic of Germany and for which we are allowed to collect official fees. As you can see, the company register contains a load of information, such as register content from the German register courts, disclosures of the trade, cooperative and partnership registers, publications from the Federal Gazette, especially the annual accounts, and further forth, like balance sheets from the micro-entities. With its contents, the company register grants and guarantees a completely and full view on all official company data in Germany. It is very important, but also very comfortable, that our register is designed as a one-stop shop. All company information can be received by one single detailed search. The platform is translated into 5 languages, but only the website itself is translated, not the official publications. That's because only the German version is the sole legally binding version. The main task of our register are the quality management on the index, the archiving data, and to ensure the searchability. I will explain the process of quality management later on in this presentation. In this chart, I'm going to show you the data and information flow of the company register. You can see that from different sources, the data is sent to our register. So every single court delivers index information to the business registers, so they don't deliver the whole data, only an index data, so you can find the original data. The business registers send these information to the company register. So every single register court also delivers the disclosure information to the business register. The business register again sends this information to the company register, so you can find every data there. Nearly the same workflow is installed for the insolvency disclosures. Furthermore, certain companies have to deposit publications of the companies directly into the company register. So our register is the official archive mechanism for financial market disclosures also. Round about 90% of the publications of the Federal Gazette have to be deposited in the company register too. It is very important that every disclosure, publication, or index of one company is mapped to the correct company. Therefore, the company register has a special matching process. We are working with an internal system which we call Universe. The Bundesanzeiger matches all client data and disclosures to the consolidated register index. The system contains the full company index of the register codes, including the disclosures, which can be viewed directly in this system. It also contains the bankruptcy disclosures, which can be viewed directly and without restrictions. The index of a recent register location can be associated with a former register location in our systems, the universe. Company mergers can be associated in universe too. Once the client data is connected to the register index, all new publications of the company are automatically matched to the correct register data. So you can find with a single search all data concerning this company. In case of an inconsistent index data, we contact the register courts directly because one of our main targets and main tasks is to improve the quality of the register index. I will now explain the function of our register from a user's view. The German company register has two different search functions. First, the global research. You can type in a part of a company name if you're not sure what is the right spelling of it, and will then receive a list of results in which this part of the name is included. Secondly, you can choose an advanced area-specific search. There you decide in which area you want to search. You can search by name, register number, etc. further forth. Furthermore, the company register is allowed to officially certify annual accounts, because sometimes German companies need their annual accounts to be official certified to get in contact or to do business with other countries. All in all, the German company register delivers a unique, exclusively and complete overview of all companies in Germany, all capital market also. So the next, how does the German company register finance itself? Our register is financed by official fees paid by the companies. Those fees have to be paid by everyone who has to publish annual accounts. So the user who's interested in the information has normally not to pay for the data. If they search in the business, in the company register. Fees only apply for selected downloads concerning the business registers information and the deposited balance sheets of the micro entities. If users download business register information, they can do this as a registered or a non-registered client. Registered client can pay with the electronic payment procedure or by credit card. Non-registered clients can only pay by credit card. If users want to download deposited annual accounts from the micro entities, they always have to register. The payment methods are then the same to the payment methods of the registered clients of business register information. Well, I think that's a lot of stuff for the German company register, so I'm going to lead up to the LI now. So the LI is a short form for the legal entity identifier number, and it's a globally unique identification code to independent legal entities in the financial market. It's used to uniquely identify every contract partner and every financial transaction worldwide. Technically, the LI is a 20-character alphanumeric code. It consists of a 4-digit prefix identifying the LOU. I will explain it further in the next sheet. For example, for the Bundesanzeiger, it would be the 3912. Then followed by a 2-digit number reserved by the Financial Stability Board, the FSB, and a 12-digit number identifying the company itself, and at least a 2-digit validation number. Well, why do we need the LI for the financial market? The LI is needed to reduce the system risks in the financial market and to improve the transparency of the OTC derivative markets, and to regulate between the states, well, I lost the key. Well, just to have a closer view and more transparency to the capital market. Who needs a LI? At the moment, the first addressees are the companies from the financial sector, like banks, credit institutions, insurance companies, and further forth. But the idea is that in the future, companies from the non-financial sector, so all the other entities of the economy, will be the addresses too. If you want some deeper details for that, you may find a lot of things into the internet, especially all legal details for the LI can be found in the EMIR, the European Market Infrastructure Regulation, and further regulation will be followed in a few months and year. Yes. So it doesn't. This is the next one. This is the next sheet. So on this sheet, you may see the structure and the responsibilities concerning the development and hosting of the LAI. The FSB recommends a three-tier structure for the global LAI system to meet the broad objectives. On the top, you can find the Regulatory Oversight Committee, the ROC, the ROC, will have the ultimate responsibility for the governance of the global LAI system. Beneath, you can see the Central Operating Unit, the COU. The COU is the operational arm of the global LAI system and has the responsibility for delivering high-quality operations. Oh, 2 minutes left, okay. So we'll shorten it. Beneath, you can see the Central Operating Unit, the COU. The Local Operation Unit, the LOU. The Local Operation Unit will provide the primary interface for entities wishing to register for a LAI. They will be the local implementers of the global systems. In Germany, the LOU is the Bundesanzeiger Publishing House. Well, as I can see, I've only 2 minutes left. I don't think that I'm going to tell you everything what we are doing there. But some special is that we have already installed a special interface. So if somebody wants to already register a LAI, a pre-LAI, he can use our CEREC system. So all allocated pre-LAIs in the CEREC system will be automatically converted into LAIs as soon as the Global Legal Entity Identifier System, the GLEIS, enters from the developing into the operating status. So afterwards, the CEREC portal becomes fully integrated in this system. What are the tasks of the CEREC acting as a pre-LAI? The GLEIS can only meet its obligation if exclusively authorized market participants are issued the pre-LAIs, and if such pre-LAIs or the LAIs may only be applied by their authorized person. At CEREC, we have to validate and authenticate the entity during the first registration and application for a LAI. And again, after 1 year, because records will be validated on an annual basis to ensure the actuality and accuracy of the information. And then the applicant must the following, no. Well, I think that's too long. I think I'm going to come to the end. We have to do a lot of checks that the right person and the authorized persons do get the pre-LAI. If there are any double LAIs, so we have to interconnect to the other LUs from the other states. So I think that will shorten the presentation, and I'm just in time. So thank you for your attention and for the further question.
Thank you. That's why I like the Germans. Let me put on the table a very important question before the next session. What's the right level of quality, if anybody has the right to set it, and what's the right cost of quality of data? And this is up to Russell and Marco. And how can we charge this cost to the appropriate stakeholders? Because let me make the example of the UK, right? Low cost, no charge, but low quality. Public, but is this a basis of a relevant business decision? Second, we don't want monopolies, right? We don't want monopolistic rent. We don't want to have anybody extracting monopolistic rent from his position. Yet, the standardization is a natural monopoly because we can't leave the formalized protocols and standards to the market. We need somebody that agrees upon the relevant protocol. So my question to you, Marco, and to you, Russell, you see different standards, different nations. You're trying to do this interoperability yourself. What's your view? What's your recommendation to public authority in terms of creation of this higher level of interoperability. So first question is about cost. The second question is about the desirable level of interoperability and the desirable level, to bring also Michael in the picture, of unique, say, legal guarantee of uniqueness of the entity being investigated. Marco, you have the floor.
Difficult to answer to the right level of cost, but let me say that in my opinion, you have to pay the quality. Is not, I do not agree with the information for free, or let me say the open concept of open data, so all available to everybody.
Open is one thing. Free might
not
be,
for free.
yes, might
not,
be a different
not for
opinion.
accessible.
Open is unlike the Turkish idea of open being arbitrary. Okay, that should be open. Free means to me at the marginal cost. In that sense, it's free. So it's free from profitability, or, if you wish, with a reasonable amount of markup. We were speaking about this 10%. That's typically the best approximation to free, okay?
For me, the reasonable amount of markup related to the investment needed to assure the right quality, I think is the right price. So we are happy to pay for quality. So about the value is not a problem of how much you pay, but it's a problem of quality and the problem of how you can have the most updated, the most reliable, the most deep information related to company. We are willing to pay in order to find this information. And then our role in the market is to add value. You asked before a big question for us, because when we say that we have to cooperate in a market, it's not easy to find the perfect limit of cooperation. We have daily discussion with Infocamere related to where we have to put the limit and where both of us could do the best for the final customer. I think that the first part, so the public registry, has to put the attention and all the investment in build the best databases, the best quality of rough information. Means different kind of information to build a unique identifier for the company that is something that we need in Europe. We need in Europe and probably in a larger scale, because it's something, but it's something that is very difficult to establish. Many companies tried to do that and failed, literally. We have probably one company in the world that is able to have a unique code that is Dun & Bradstreet, but not at the level in which we consider reliable this code, and it's a private company. So means I think that this kind of value has to be held by a public company, the public register. So
that's my point about public monopolies versus private monopolies. Okay, standardization is a public good. Okay? Is a public good.
I agree.
Then value added should be and must be kept private and open to competition.
I agree. But then, when you establish a unified code, all the linkages, all the activity related to extract more value or more information from different sources is something that is part of the private activity in the private company. So if it's clear, this definition and limit between the two parts, I think we can really provide a very good service.
Yeah. Russell, you made the classic example of GPS, right? So a public infrastructure that becomes a public good with a lot of externalities, with adding enormous value to the economy. Again, what's the equilibrium point between quality and cost and price?
Well, if we look at business information or company filing information, it's multifaceted, obviously, right? So we need to also take a multifaceted view, which is adding a lot of complexity because of the different environments, the regulatory environments, but also culturally, and we always forget about how did the business information, the filing, the platforms come into place from a cultural, historic standpoint, right? But nevertheless, if we look at, because you were also asking about the recommendations, right? So one of the successes to create a new sector based on data, based on some things like oil, it's like almost a natural resource, which is available in one way, is to make it accessible, findable and accessible, not to prohibit access to the data. The second part, obviously, free in a different variations, but here it's quite clear that the costs of hosting, cost of making available has to be carried by someone. It's just the way it is. And if you are a business, if you're a financial institution, would you rely on yellow page data for your information? Well, maybe for the phone number, because if you call and it's the wrong number, it costs you 20 seconds of your life and maybe 3 cents for the call. No financial impact, right? But if you have to take a business decision, which is for most small companies a few thousand euros, or for big financial institutions who also have the burden to actually prove with whom they're dealing with because of anti-money laundering requirements or know your customer requirements, that impact could also be in the millions based on false decision. So I think we have to separate and say free in the sense that if you want to access some basic data, you have to find the company. Today, it's difficult in some countries to even find the company because you have prohibitive pricing because you have to pay for the search. That makes no sense, right? But the documents should be of current filings and also of quality. So here, my recommendation, very clear, is that if we have a single request for a document, you don't have to change a lot today. Make it findable, make it accessible, but you don't have to change a lot. But if I'm in the business information industry, then I need data in bulk. It cannot be that I have to pay 500,000 euros a year just to have the basic data set of the companies that are available, because when I buy that bulk data, tomorrow, 5% changed.
Yeah.
So we also have to take the differentiated view that a snapshot versus continuous access to the data should come to a price. Bulk.
So it's more than price, is pricing, if I may.
It's a quality of service, I think, that we have to bring in. I mean, yes, we talk about, obviously, internet. We do not want to have different pricing for different access and bandwidth. But when it comes to the data, which is, it's a little bit different because there is a change, there's a fundamental change. It's not a commodity per se, it's only commodity as a whole.
Right. Mike, any comment about the price and the cost of data that you can recommend to public authority and private corporation?
How much is going to how much do you have to earn for this information? Well, I'm not quite sure. I think the main thing is maybe as you've seen at the presentation, who has to pay for it and how much do they have to pay for it. In Germany, it is that the companies have to pay for the information because they are the source, they are the reason why the information are interested. So in Germany, not the interested persons has to pay for the information. So and I think it's quite normal that the company has to pay at first for the information. So someone who provides the information has a certain amount of money so he can do all the stuff to get this information on time and on right time and legally binding. So in the European, and you don't need so much money. In Germany, it's for the normal companies, they have to pay 3 euros or 6 euros for a year. The financial market companies have to pay 30 euros. So it's not very much, not very expensive for the companies. And the users, the interested persons, may search the information for free. That's the first thing. Well, in Germany it differs a bit, but most of the information you may get from the company register for free, the whole data. And the quality of the data and the legally binding qualities may be paid by this fee, by this annual fee, if the sources delivers the right information to the unique sole platform.
Marco, do you agree?
My view is that the value has to be paid by the user. So I'm the user of the information, I need this information so I can pay the value, not by me. It's a different model, I think, but I think that if I need an information, I'm ready to pay something. Or we could be we could have also a mixture between the two ones.
Well, that's exactly the equilibrium we need to find in order to maximize public welfare and reliability on business decision. I don't know whether there are questions for this particular panel, or we just move. Please, may I have a gelato, please? Please introduce yourself just briefly.
Yes,
Thank you.
Bruno de Grazier from Gibraltar. Just a technical question where we talk about the LEI, the pre-LOU that you're managing. You are saying it's very important, you know, that you identify, and even it states in the statute that there should be a unique number and the entity may apply anywhere. But the central registry in Bern has not been established yet. So if the central registry is not established, how do you check that the entity or the company has not been registering yet, and you may have a double registration? That's my question.
Well, that's a good question.
Because Bern has not been established yet. It will be at the end of the year. And you're saying that automatically pre-LEI will be LEI. But say, for example, that another country, Italy, where the Camera di Commercio, I mean, is already also a pre-LOU, has been giving a pre-LEI to the same company. So are you going both to transform the pre-LEI and LEI? In that case, you got a double registration.
Well, that's the reason why we installed the pre-LAI, so we can have a test version at first. The first thing is it's for the capital market, for the financial market. It's the first step to install the LI. Maybe there are 1,000, 2,000 companies who have to have a LI at first. So it's you have not too many companies you have to check on. And the next thing is that in every state, in every European state, the pre-LU has to be installed, and normally it's only one entity. Like in Germany there are two. It's called the Wertpapiermitteilung. It's a newspaper who has, don't know why, it has been the first who has been interested in the LI, and we. And so if there is a company who wants to be authorized for a LI, we get the first impression. We have to check it on our own. Then we have 15 or 20 other LUs in Austria, in Poland, and everywhere else. We have to contact them at the moment by email, by a system, or by the CIREX system, so we can exchange data. So it's a Michael Hecker GmbH, the limited. Then we are asking the other one, like Poland, in a whole system, is this company already registered for you or in your country? And then we trying to fix all this. And so that's the reason why we have the pre-LI. I think in summer, in the autumn, there will be the LI installed, and then we have all the companies on the financial market fixed together and checked, hopefully. And if there is any inconsistent data, we have to check it again. But they're reliable, because if somebody gets a new company, the first thing is to have anybody else in Europe, this company installed with a LEI.
Yeah, which there's no
Yes.
central system yet. That means that you have to send a single message to all existing pre-LEI, and that is increasing, you know, by month. So it's a bit complex.
It's much easier, because it's already existing. Well, I'm the lawyer, I'm not the technician, so I hope I can get it to you. There's an existing system. So you have the 20 digits. That's the first thing. Is this digit already given by another one? And then does this digit is already connected to a certain company? Or otherwise, there's a company. Does anybody has this company already connected to a LI? And it's nearly automatically. And if there is something in false, then we have to do the old school, like telephone or email or anything else. But it's a small number of companies at the moment. I hope when this system runs for a while, it will be much more automatically.
I prohibit any technical question to lawyers. In the
Yes,
future,
thank
okay? Lawyers are not entitled
And
to
about
answer.
money, please.
Yeah. We keep lawyers for other activities. There was a comment for Russell.
Yeah, Bruno, I have just a quick comment on that, because I spend a lot of time on numbering systems, obviously. I believe that the LEI will actually fail because it is not manageable. It is dictated centrally, but there's no central system. So what will actually work better is an alternative open system that is also not like Dun & Bradstreet Duns, because that is actually prohibitive to any other competitor or to the market itself. But an open system which follows more the structure of like the IBANs, where you can take local numbering systems and you just extend them a little bit to identify a company uniquely, would be something you could implement within 1 year. The LEI is an over-engineered failure, actually.
No, I entirely agree, because for a company point of view, for the registry, if your company is Italian, you have to register in Italy the first incorporation. With the LEI, if the Italian company have got, for example, a position with a bank in London, they may have a LEI number in UK. So it is an absolute muddle.
Well, I'm pleased to have different views, and I share the fact that we probably need a public standard, whether open or bottom-up, are definitely right. But an attempt, whether over-engineered or under-engineered, I leave it to the history. It's a sign that we need a unique way of addressing corporations. So thanks to this important attempt to build this infrastructure. Okay, I thank you, gentlemen, for your contribution, and I ask a kind applause for my panel. Thank you.